Hi guys. So trying to use the pixellab shadow function can be very frustrating as it usually doesn't give what it should give, at least for me. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I create my shadows to match the image that I'm trying to work with. Basically, when you're using shadows, you're just trying to like depict how it would look like in real life, right? And so using the Pixel Labs shadow function usually doesn't work. Let's just try it out. So I'm gonna go to the shadow function for this. I've already selected this and then I enable my shadow. So here you have the option to offset X. It doesn't really work that way, except maybe you're trying to depict a shadow on the wall, right? Which could actually work. Which could actually work, right? But then there's no um option for you to maybe reduce the opacity as the shadow is like too dark, right? So stuff like this make it seem very make it quite frustrating and doesn't really go well. So I'm going to be showing you guys. I don't want to make this video so long, so let's just get into it, right? So let's take that off. So I'm going to show you guys two ways you can create shadows. It can be like, it depends on what you want to actually put a shadow on. So I'm going to show you two ways. First of all, the first way you can do is just make a copy of this. I'm going to make a copy of this. Copy. Then we're going to change the color. We're going to change the color to black or gray, just like the color of the shadow basically. So I'm going to enable color and we're going to change it to black. Let's just leave it at black because we're still going to reduce the opacity. So okay, that's fine. So what you're going to do is we're going to use our perspective tool. Now this is just to position it like, okay, for this I'm trying to depict like the shadow on the ground, something like that. So I'm just going to use my perspective to just make it look like this, right? Yeah. So I think this is fine. Right. So what I'm going to do next, maybe let me lock this. Let me lock this. So what I'm going to do next is maybe I'll just increase this a little bit. Just increase this a little bit. Then I can take this to the back. This is to the back. Then I'll just try to position it well. Like, I'm going to reduce the opacity. Reduce the opacity. This is like for when the shadow is at the back, right? There are times when you can put the shadow in front. Just depends on what you're trying to depict or how you're imagining the light angle in your image to be. So this is one, right? So you can actually still put this in front, but then you know how you're going to use your perspective to tilt it towards the front. So another way, maybe I want to just cast like a shadow on his canvas. So let's just go with that. Let me lock this as well. So what I usually do to create a kind of shadowy effect is I'm going to go to my shapes and I'm going to import a circle. So then for this circle, I'm going to reduce the opacity to 0, right? Then for the stroke, I'm going to increase the stroke to the highest, which is 40, right? I usually like to leave it black. Then for the blur radius, I'm going to increase the blur radius to the highest. So I'm just going to close this up. Then basically I can just do whatever I want with this, depending on how where I want to place it, right? So I'm just going to tilt this like this. Okay. So we'll just bring this like this here. Maybe tilt this a little bit, bring it here like this. I'm going to reduce the opacity as well. Introduce the opacity as well. So I'm going to do this. So let's take this to the back, right? So we have this. You can see that it's already casting a kind of shadow. And this is basically it, right? This is basically how to achieve something like this. So guys, hope this was useful. Thank you for your time. Hope you learned something new.